Hi everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to another commented time-lapse. In this video I show you how I sculpted this female portrait. This sculpting was created for Sculpt January 2017. This is an online event I run every January where you can participate and practice sculpting for 31 days. If you are interested in this, check out my website in January 2018 or just sign up to my newsletter and I will send you a notification when it's about to start. Yeah, for this sculpting my initial idea was to create Princess Leia from Star Wars. But yeah, somehow I put too much time into their hair and somehow I just don't get the likeness right. And yeah, after I was done with the sculpting, I created this shaded model with some procedural textures on it, and I have to say this one was one of the ugliest thing I've ever created. Every time I look at this, it just hurts. And yeah, I don't want to show it to you, but here it is. Look at it and laugh. Okay, stop it. Anyway, after I realized that this looks totally crap, I just put a clay shader on it. This one here is from Cycles Material Vault, by the way. And with this shader, this looks quite okay. But I think the hair on this model is pretty interesting, and that's the reason why I want to show you this time lapse. Also, if you're interested in the full real-time video with no comments, no narration, then you can download this, including the 3D model on Gumroad. So there you can see everything in real time and super slow, and every mistake I did. So all in all, this sculpting process took me about 4.5 hours. With the ugly shading and so on this was about 6.5 hours. So yeah, this video basically shows a process of 4.5 hours. Alright, without further words, let's get started. Alright, here I downloaded some skull images from Pixabay, I guess, and used them as background images. With a simple subdivided cube, I created the basic shape of the head and the neck. And then I joined this using the free Sculpt Tools add-on. And then I switched over to the sculpt mode and started to shape the basic shapes of the face. Here I create a simple eye. This is always separate. Don't join this with a model. And here I started to add a little bit more features to the face. And you can see it's pretty low resolution at this point. So first of all, I try to get the basic shapes right. For the teeth, I simply place a cylinder inside the mouse, and then later on we can sculpt the teeth on this. So the mouse area and the mouse corners are very important to get a feel of a living person. So yeah, on my second screen, I always look at reference images, and this time, as mentioned before, from Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, Star Wars. And yeah, I wanted to do this one image where she is smiling into the camera, I guess. But yeah, as mentioned before, I totally get this wrong. So the ears I start creating separately, so I don't create them out of the mesh. And I also look at a reference image to get the shapes right, because the ear is quite complex. And at this point, I don't join this with the head, because then I always can change the ear without touching the head. Here I added this sphere shape and put it inside the head, and this is a basic shape for the hair basically. Also for the other parts of the hair, I just blocked out this volume shapes of the hair. So we are working with shapes here, so we don't have real hair in this case, so we need to have a base mesh also for the hair. Then I create this basic thicker lines for the hair, and with the crease brush I make this a little bit sharper here and there. And as you can imagine, this is pretty time consuming. And I think I also tried a lot. As you can see here, I think I got back to an older version of the hair and started it again, because yeah, I had to try out. So also here you can see I smooth this and then start again. So this took a lot of time and I tried different things out. And as you can see here, I just use a basic sculptor brush. Also here, as you can see, I just create the main shapes, and after that I create all these tiny hairs. And for that I only use a standard sculptor brush with a pointy curve, and from time to time the crease brush to sharpen the edges. And yeah, this works pretty well. So as you can see here, I do the same things for the main hair. I add these tiny hair strokes all over the place. This took a lot of time, but as you can see, this looks pretty interesting and you get the real feel of the hair, of the flow of the hair. So don't draw straight lines, always put some curves in there, so this will look much more realistic. So the braid was one of the more complicated stuff because sculpting this in 3 dimensions, it's a little bit tough, and with this curve in it also, so it took me some time to get this right. But yeah, same thing here, I sculpted the main shapes, and after that I add the tiny strokes for the fine hair. But yeah, here I'm messing around with this. As you can see, this took me a lot of time. With the snakehook brush, I always try to shape things in bigger dimensions, basically if something is not right. So this works pretty well. And as you can see here I start with a standard sculptor brush, a pointy curve, and draw on it. And there's a little trick. If you flood fill the whole mesh so that you have the same resolution everywhere and then disable dynamic topology, you can sculpt much smoother. So this is a nice tip, especially if you have a high resolution sculpting mesh here. So then we have this curved shape here with, this should also add a nice little detail to the hair. So same thing here. And now I use a bevel curve tool add-on, which is pretty interesting. There you can create pretty fast this hair shapes using a curve. And this adds this tiny details to the hair to make this look more realistic. And I colored this in red here because otherwise I can't really see where I put all this hair. So and then I duplicate it on the other side and so on. Here I add final fine details to the face. Basically I just increase or decrease the detail size. And then I add this eyebrows and so on. Here I create a simple shape for the claws. There I simply use the multi-resolution modifier and added some folds here and there. Here I try to improve the eye a bit. And yeah, and also with this bevel curve tool I also created the eyelashes, as you can see here, and this works pretty fast. Yeah, and the final thing I did was joining the ear with the head, and I was done with the sculpting. And yeah, as mentioned before, I will not show you how I did this ugly shading. Yeah guys, that's it with this time lapse. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned a few things. If so, tell your friends about it and share this video, that's particularly important. Yeah, thanks for watching, and as mentioned before, if you want to have the real-time video, just check out my Gumroad page. Thanks for watching, and we see us in my next video. Goodbye!